to Swami Nirviseshananda Tirtha. And a warm welcome to all of you. I think several of you are new to Nutan Swamiji, as we fondly call him. And we are very happy and we are very blessed to be invited so graciously by Krishna Vediji to her beautiful home for this satsang. And of course, we are also immensely grateful to Praveenji for that beautiful introduction to this program. So this is actually a very informal, interactive satsang with Nutan Swamiji. And we've given a title, The Spiritual Knowledge Lead to a Happier Life. So I think it's one of those titles where the answer is obviously yes. But what Nutan Swamiji is going to show us is how it will lead to a happier life. And we welcome questions from all of you. If you have any questions during the session, you can write them down and hand it to us at the end. Or when you have any questions, just feel free to raise your hand. And
I think given the attendance, it is better to start with question. It may not be question, at least to know who would like to know on which topic. And let us forget about the title given.
Okay, we'll forget about
because there is no point in.
Questions if anyone has any.
Or in which part of it you want some enlightenment. It need not be exactly a question.
Like for those of you who are new, who have come today, what have you come here to learn, or what would you like to know? Why have you come? Maybe you could start with sharing that. Anybody could get the ball rolling? Anyone? Yes?
Give the mic to her. Can it reach? No, no.
Would you like to come here?
It will be easier. It will be easier. This cable, Siddharth, be careful of the cable.
Okay. Jai Guru, Pranam at the lotus feet. My name is Mangala Kini, and I may be new here today, but I've been listening to Nutan Swamiji every Tuesday, when I'm in the gym. So today my question to Swamiji, very humbly, I ask is, in this world, we are always, busy doing our job, taking responsibilities, everything. I want to be continuously connected to the Atma, okay? And I try to do Namasmaran as much as possible, but anything else that would help me be connected continuously in spite of doing my regular responsibilities. Thank you, Swami.
It's a very good question, but anybody else has anything else? I will try to club up. Please remember, I may ask you the question again, Mangala. I may ask you the question again. I would like to know.
My name is Kumar Upadhyaya. I come from my problem is this issue between Dvait and Advait. Right from the childhood, we have been taught that there is a God and you are human being, always devoted to God. So I am always confused about this Brahman. There is only one Brahman, we are part of the Brahman. There is no duality. So this issue is bothering me always.
Okay. So I will first answer your question, then take up this. I will do a little Guru Vandana and then start. Namo Namaste Gurave Mahatmane Vimukta Sangaya Saduttamaya Nityadvayananda Rasaswarupine Bhumne Sada Paradayam Budhamne Namaste Namaste Vibho Vishwamurti Namaste Namaste Chidanandamurti Namaste Namaste Tapoyogagamya Namaste Namaste Shruti Jnanagamya. Swarajya samrajya vibhutiresha bhavat kripa shri mahima prasadat prapta maya shri gurave mahatmane namo namastestu punarnamostu namo namastestu punarnamostu namo namastestu punarnamostu namastasmai sadaikasmai kasmai chinmahase namaha yadetad vishvarupena rajate guru rajate yadetad vishvarupena rajate Guru Rajati. Hari. That's it. Now, what Mangala was asking, that is a question for everybody. There are two phases of our pursuit. If we are the seeker of the ultimate truth, you call, or seeker of God realization, whatever you may say, it is distinctly two different phases. So we have to understand what we are looking for, what we are aiming at. Otherwise, we will not be able to progress, we will not be able to be fulfilled. And there, the vichara, as we say, that is taking the help of our intelligence to understand, is very important. Because right from the beginning we have been told that you have to constantly do the japa. For that many things have been given us. We do japa mala also, or go on singing, chanting, etc. Now, as long as we are thinking God as somebody sitting in the yonder sky, as different from myself, as different from me, it is fine. We can go on chanting, but in your mind you have to see that what is the God you are thinking about. Are you not thinking about God is sitting somewhere managing things, or at least He is different from myself, that the I we refer to, it is different from that. That means I am trying to look at God as somebody before me, as an object before me. I will know that, just like knowing how is the microphone. That microphone is different from me. Like that, God also is different from me. We can do it as long as our mind is completely disturbed by most of the time is disturbed by the worldly things. So we are told that as much as possible you take to meditation, or take to the nama japa, or take to bhajan and all. As much time as you can spend. Now there is a clear distinction. We have a puja room, we go to the puja room, we do the worship, or we chant, or we do japa, and we come back and we do the household work. So we consider that the spirituality or God seeking is different from my daily activities. And while performing the daily activities, if you have to think of the God of your concept, whatever God we are thinking of in sitting in the puja room or doing the japa, while doing the daily activities, if you do it, it is an impossibility, because then the activities cannot be done properly. If it is bodily activity, you can still do the japa and continue with your activity. But suppose you have to write something. How can you write something not thinking about the topic you are writing? So, where the meditation, the mental work is more important in spirituality, you cannot do it without your mind deviating from the God of your concept, of whom you are thinking in the puja room or so. So, there is a thumb rule for that, that initially we say that as long as God is different from me, we do the upasana. In our shastras, in Upanishads, it is called upasana, means upa-asana, means sitting near whatever you are thinking to be the God, idol or so. Now, there you are thinking, but you look into your mind, always you are thinking that I am this person, I am thinking of God. That is a picture in your mind. Because in your mind, apart from God, there is many things in the world, and at least my personality, which is a product of nature, that also is there. I am thinking of God, who is different from me. So it is said that Devo bhutva devan apyeti. It is our scriptural statement that as long as your deva, the idol you are worshipping, is different from you, you go on worshipping till what point? He says Devo bhutva. That means when you are, suppose you are worshipping Vishnu or Shiva, whatever you like. Say you are worshipping Shiva. Now, when your worship ends is when you become Shiva. If you are worshipping Vishnu, when you become Vishnu. Now, what is the meaning of it? Normally, when we are worshipping my Ishtadeva, the deity, I am thinking of the deity, but the mind is not becoming full of the deity. There I am there, and I am thinking of deity. My becoming that deity happens only when we forget the whole world, including my own body-mind personality also. The I am there in the world and I am worshipping the creator of the world or whatever. This has to completely go. My mind has to become Ishtamaya or Devamaya. You understand the statement? That is, there is nothing else. The whole world is forgotten. When whole world is forgotten, you have forgotten your personality also. Otherwise, the world is not forgotten. You are a product of nature. You are a product of the world. So, when our devotion becomes so one-pointed, the devotion has to become one-pointed. Then, the mind completely forgets about the world, about myself also. And the mind becomes the Ishtadeva. That is the point we say that you become the Deva. That means the mind has taken the form of whatever your concept of your Ishta is. And that is the end point of worship. When you are able to be one-pointed like that, then we say that this is the finale of worship. Because in worship, you are still thinking that I am not the God, but I am worshipping God. And God is different from me. But in that process, the devotion has become so strong, so one-pointed that I have forgotten the world, I have forgotten myself. So this is necessary to forget the world. Now, for a person who is not doing the upasana of any Ishtadeva or so, who is practicing meditation on his self, let us say, that generally meditation is to know who am I, who is the self. He is not meditating on any Ishtadeva, on any particular God. He is meditating to know who is the observer of everything like that. Then in meditation he will try to find out his own self. So what will he do? He will start thinking like this. Let us say it can be different for different people, but generally we are considering my body, mind, personality to be what I am. So he will start thinking, no, the body I am seeing, the body is changeful. But I, that observer of the body, knower of the body, never changes. That is why I am able to see the changes of the body from childhood to old age. Every day the body is undergoing change. So the body is an object before this I, the observer. Similarly, we go deeper, we find that earlier used to think that I am becoming happy, I am becoming unhappy. That means, who is becoming unhappy? We think that I am having dukkha, I am having sukha. But when we start looking within, we find that sukha, dukkha, they are the two states of our mind, and I am the observer of that. So neither I am becoming dukkhi, unhappy, nor I am becoming sukhi or happy. It is the sukha and dukkha, two waves of the mind, two states of the mind, which I am the observer. I am only seeing it. Then you will go further, that even the intelligence, am I not knowing that yesterday my intelligence was not working, it was very dull, today it is very sharp. So the changes of the intelligence also I am observing. So I am not the intelligence even. Then who am I? The I is the observer of everything, the external world, which is always changeful, and internal world, which is also always changeful. The mind is always changing, the intelligence is always changing, the emotions are always changing, everything is changeful. The unchanging is only the revealer or the observer or the witness of all these changeful external as well as internal world. So who is that I? When we try to investigate, we go into it, we find that we are calling this as I. So my very effort to know that I is never going to be fructified, because I am trying to look at that I as different from me. Suppose I want to discover who is the self. That means I remains I, and I am discovering self. Then is it that self is the I? Self becomes different from self, from the I. Do you understand this? No? That when we initially try to become self-realized or discover the self, then still the effort is that looking within, we try to what is that self, what is that self? That means in my mind I have created that I am different from the self, and I will discover the self to become self-realized. So actually self, which is I am, by very effort to know it as different from me, we are objectivizing the subject, if you can say. That means the self which I am, who is revealer of everything, who is the knower of everything, I am also trying to make it an object like the world and know it. Actually that knower is the I, not what we are knowing as, oh, well, this is the self. That will not be the self. So we must at least understand that this effortful observation of the self is not going to be successful. So then we try to surrender, because as long as the effortfulness is there, by that effortfulness we are making ourselves small, and we are trying to know the ultimate truth, which is everything, Brahman you call, Atma you call, whatever you call. We are trying to know that as different from me, so making myself small, and that also as an object. The process is wrong. So when we stop that effort and we surrender, saying that I don't know, this is something I will not be able to go in, because my effort will not be successful, because by the very effort I am making myself small. I cannot become everything as the self is described to be, as the Atma is described to be, as the Brahman is described to be. I cannot become like that. When we are able to leave that effort, surrender that effort also, that means we forget completely about the world, about myself, about my pursuit, about my... Everything is forgotten. Then the self which was revealing everything, it reveals itself also, because that is the only revealer. It cannot be revealed by anything else. This is the gist of our so-called meditational practice, and the ultimate of that is called samadhi. Samadhi means there is no differential notion at all. Everything is gone. We have got merged in that real identity, and there is no duality at that point. So it is called Advaita Anubhuti, Advaya Anubhuti, or it is also called Aparoksha Anubhuti, that we become the self. Now, where I am just telling you the different pursuits that we have. Now, the first question what you asked, that still remains, because what will happen for him is that, well, when we are able to have the samadhi, we call it Atma Sakshatkara. Sakshatkara means who has experienced the Atma or the self. Then the problem will be that in meditation, I have got the touch of the self. I knew the self. But after coming back from the meditative state, when we are again active in the world, then we start missing that self. So it is the great viraha we say. Viraha means the separation, the pang of separation will be tremendous initially. That once you have enjoyed the blissful existence that in a wholesome manner, then the moment the meditation is gone, you are back into the world with your smallness and differential notion, everything. Then you start feeling that, initially what will you do? You will again and again go into meditation, try to see there. Then you have to do the vichara and understanding that are we meant to be always remaining in meditation, not remain active in the world? Then you are no longer in the world, so to say. Some people do it and they try to remain always there. But what our Upanishads point out is that it is not the end of sadhana, it is only the first step of sadhana that you have had the sakshatkara. But for that experience of the divinity, you have to meditate, and in the meditational state, you are experiencing the divinity. What we aim at is that we want to divinize our life so that we don't miss. Because if I am the ultimate truth, if I am the Atma, the real Atma, which is same as the Brahman, then how is it that we can miss that truth most of the time of the day? Only 1 hour in meditation or 2 hours in meditation, sometimes there also a few minutes I am with Atma, but the rest of the time, then how can I call it I, the Atma? So all these contradictions have to be sorted out by our own vichara, our own introspection. Then comes the ultimate thumb rule. What is that? When you are knowing the Atma or the ultimate in meditation, but whenever you are out of that state of meditation, you are missing it. Then where lies the solution? You know that the Shastras have said, or the Gurus have said, that everything is appearing in that Atma. There is nothing other than Atma, nothing other than Brahman. Atma is the same as Brahman. All these things we have learned. But I am not finding it. Only in meditation I am finding I have forgotten everything and I am merged with Atma. But the moment I am coming out in the active field, I am missing it. I am again in the same world. I feel small, I feel jealous, I feel inferior, I feel suffering, I feel happy, I feel sorrow, grief. Everything is the same. How can we say that everything is the same? That everything is Atma? So there comes the quest of knowledge and the corresponding discovery. There what the solution lies in, not in doing japa throughout the day or thinking of the Ishta throughout the day. But we have to understand that what is this Atma that we have known in meditation and what are his characteristics. Now whatever is the aim of meditation, we have to make that the aim of our interactional life also. This is a very, very important statement, if you can understand. That with what aim we are meditating? What is the aim of meditation? To get merged in the real Atma? That Atma Sakshatkara is the aim of the meditation? Now that goal has to be put in the wakeful life also. How will it happen? You will be functioning, so you cannot think of the concept of the Atma or concept of Brahman while you are active. So that is possible only by a transformation, purification, sublimation of our mind intelligence. Now, what are the characteristics of the Atma? The Atma is everything, first of all. It embraces, it reveals everything. Atma never gets affected by anything happening in the world. Forget about the body-mind personality undergoing grief, happiness, or jealousy, or whatnot. Atma is never affected by anything. As the sun rays, they reveal the beautiful flower, also reveals the garbage also. By that, the sunlight doesn't get beautified or get petrified by showing the garbage. Sunlight remains sunlight. The Atma is like that. It is a consciousness. Now, Atma is something which is always unaffected, which is always revealing everything. Atma's role is only to reveal. It reveals the sukha, it reveals the dukkha, it reveals all other emotions also, never undergoing any change. That means it has to be impersonal and impartial. Generally we are very, very partial in our approach. If it is my children, my grandchildren, then we are definitely, it's not to do with the looking after them. You may look after, but we are partial in our relationships. If it is my enemy, I don't want to look at the face also. If it is my friend, then I go and hug. So everywhere this differential notion is tarnishing our mind, which in Bhagavad Gita it is called raga dvesha. Raga means clinging to what we like, and dvesha means hating what we dislike. Likes and dislikes in a form will be there. Everybody will like a good person, nobody will like a bad person. Those things will be there. But our problem is we clinging to what we like and hating what we dislike. So we want to avoid what we dislike, and we don't want to leave what we like. All our troubles of the mind can be categorized here. If somebody close to us whom we love, he leaves, that we are not able to bear the consequence. But we don't bother about somebody else whom I do not like going on, living or not living. We don't bother about it. So this preference and prejudice, actually the world will remain whatever it is. Our mind is undergoing disturbance because of our raga dvesha. That we should understand. Raga dvesha means our preferential orientation, prejudicial orientation. That means we are clinging to what we like and we are trying to avoid what we dislike. We are intolerant about what we dislike. The world will not be disturbing at all. It will not agitate our mind when we free our mind of this raga dvesha. Is encapsulated beautifully in a Bhagavad Gita shloka. Ragadvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyeshcharan atma vashair vidhe atma prasadam adhigacchati. He says prasadam adhigacchati. That means he attains placidity. Placidity is a condition of the mind which remains whether you are suffering or you are in great comfort, the mind will always remain placid. Generally in our suffering, our mind becomes distorted. In comfort also we get elated. So he says, raga dvesha viyuktaihi tu. The person who has been able to get rid of this raga and dvesha, this clinging to what he likes and hating what he dislikes, intolerant about what he dislikes. When he is able to get over these two, raga, dvesha, vishayan indriyesh charan, with the same sense organs, he remains active in the same world. He is dealing with the same food, same building, same people, everything remains same. But the difference is in his mind that he has made his mind free of raga and dvesha. He says, Atma vashair. He is under the complete control of his own Atma. How? Because normally we are always slave to the world. That something goes little off, we lose our self-centeredness. We immediately get agitated. Something is favorable, we get elated. We run after that and we get elated. There also we lose our self-centeredness. Self-centeredness we lose in both ways, when we are happy, when we are suffering. So, normally we are always under the clutch of the world and world situation. slave to the world situation. Here what happens, once we are rid of the raga dvesha, you can easily understand that this slavery will go, because he will be at ease with whatever you like and whatever you dislike. So he becomes Atma Vashir. His mind remains undeviated from his Atma. He is under the discipline of his Atma, Vidheya Atma. His life also is having a discipline, but this discipline is coming from within. He is not controlled by the outer law of morality, this, that and all. He doesn't have to think of anything, because he is under the guidance of his internal inmost self. Prasadam adhigacchati. He attains placidity. Now, that means when we are able to remain free of ragadvesha, remain free of, that means we are freed of the affectation by the world also. Are we not coming closer and closer to the Atma in our active state also? Because we are not getting affected by anything. We are not partial. We are becoming more and more impersonal. Is it okay? Are you able to understand? So, he becomes more and more like Atma. As much as he is able to get rid of the slavery of the raga dvesha, so much he gets rid of the affectation by the world. And so much he becomes independent, being close to the Atmic qualities. The Atma qualities are repeatedly in Bhagavad Gita also it is said, basically it is that. It is all embracing, it is unaffected by anything, it is unchanging, it is immortal. Immortality, we say immortal, immortal. Actually nothing in the world can be immortal. The world is created. That means there is birth for the world. The world is getting destroyed. There is a death for the world. This is the very basis of creation, is changefulness. Without changefulness, nothing could have been created. Creation means it will be getting born, it will change, and it will die finally. So immortality is a concept we often use because it is so much spoken of in our scriptures. But truly speaking, immortality is not to be found anywhere in the world. The only immortal, unchanging we can think of is the Atma, which reveals the world, which is not part of the world. The world appears in it. It reveals the world. So, in our interactions, we have to think that every time our mind becomes given to the raga dvesha, suppose it is, I am becoming selfish, I am becoming gain-oriented. The moment I am becoming selfish, we have to remind ourselves that, no, this is not the quality of the Atma. I have to become non-selfish. Whenever we are getting agitated, no, the Atma is unaffected, so I have to remain unaffected. This is the sadhana. If we go on doing like this regularly, while active, that means while you are active, interactive, you have to have the watchfulness about your mind, that thinking what you are going to do, and there the change has to be brought in. That all the Atmic dimensions, Atmic qualities must get manifest in my active life also. Then what is happening? We are incorporating the Atma in my active life also. That means whatever we were realizing in meditation, the unaffected, unchanging Atma, in my interactive life also I am establishing that Atma. What we have known in meditation, we are implanting that in our active life also. When we are able to do it, you will find that the fulfillment dawns and you are not disturbed by anything at all. To the extent you do, to that extent you will become fulfilled. And there is no end to this fulfillment also. You will not anymore think of the goal, because the path becomes so fulfilling that goal becomes redundant. That every moment of life you are becoming Atma. What is the self-realization? That you know that I am this unchanging, all-embracing Atma. Now that knowledge is not complete because you don't feel it. Now when you start feeling every moment that I am coming closer to it, I am becoming that, then every moment this self-realization is growing every moment. It is not the end of the path and I will become self-realized. It's not like that. Every moment I am becoming more and more self, closer to the self. And that path is so fulfilling that you will become joyous always walking that path, doing anything. The work you do not like or work you like, it does not matter at all. Everything we will do. So, what are the steps? The first step is to, if we are having some Ishtadeva, to become one-pointed to that. Then from the Ishtadeva you come back to that, it is the Deva is not different from me. The real Deva is the revealer of the whole world, revealer of everything, revealer of itself also. So from Ishtadeva you come back to self. That is, Ishtadeva is no longer sitting in the yonder sky different from me. But this is what I am knowing every moment. Without I we cannot do anything. In dream also I is there. All other things can be missed. Something is coming, something is going. But I we cannot miss at all. That I, we have to know the real dimension of the I. So once we know the dimension of the I through meditation, that is Atma Sakshatkara, then we find that I have not been able to become changeless, immortal. So naturally, how will you become immortal is to establish whatever you have known in meditation in our daily life through work by incorporating the Atmic dimension in my own mind, emotion and everything. And it is so fulfilling because you will not get any more disturbed and always only thinking of love, good about people, everything. Now the last point will be there, why do you meditate? Because in meditation the mind is completely becomes zero. Is it not so? There is no thoughts, nothing, no vritti is there. Now if the meditation is very fulfilling, that means you are generally not happy with your thoughts. Is it not? If you are happy with your thoughts, then meditation is a zero state. When you are happy with the thoughts, will you like to go to meditative state? So meditation you feel blissful because otherwise you are not happy. Now, in this case what is happening? When you have incorporated the Atma in your active life, in everything, that makes you placid. Atma Vashair Vidayatma Prasadam Adhigacchati. You are always in Prasada. Then would you like to meditate and become zero anymore? Because the positive thoughts which is giving you the joy and fulfillment, if you go to meditation they will not be there, it is a zero state. So actually you don't need anymore, the meditation loses its purpose. Initially it is very much necessary, but when you establish the wholesomeness of the Atmic dimension, then meditation also becomes redundant. You may meditate sometimes, but you will not crave for it because you are always in a placid state. Does it answer your question?
Thank you very much. Practice, practice, practice.
It's only to be practiced and known. It's a living knowledge, so it has to be known by practicing. Once you do, you will find so... See, once you overcome your selfishness or say blaming, all of us have these tendencies, blamingness, blamefulness, selfishness, hatred towards somebody, intolerant about something. The moment you are able to overcome that, win over that, you will find great joy, so much of joy in winning over our own lower tendencies, that will become your sadhana, that always you will be wanting to get rid, which is making us small, selfish, kripana, so to say. And every moment we are able to win over those tendencies, it's a great joy. So that itself will take the sadhana forward. We may think that it is difficult. It is not at all difficult because it is so fulfilling and joyful right from the beginning. Because if we do the real sadhana, it is not a philosophy or Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishta, Advaita. Nothing is there. You don't have to know anything. Advaita tells us that why do we need Advaita? Because our mind is full of multiplicity, that need not be incorporated. We are born with the Vibhinnata. Now that mind, to deal with the multiplicity, we use the concept of Advaita. That is, multiplicity would be dealt with by the concept of oneness. Now when the multiplicity goes, that concept of one also has to be left. The truth is transcendental. It is neither Dvaita nor Advaita. Truly speaking, Advaita is not one. Had it been one, we would have called it monistic, not Advaita. Advaita means non-dual. I am replying your question. Now, non-dual means there is nothing non-dual in the created universe or in your mind. The mind is a product of duality. So Advaita cannot be thought about in the mind. That is why it is called avang manaso gochara. It cannot be expressed by words. It cannot be expressed by mind. So it is a non-dual revelation is when the Atma reveals itself. There is no subject-object division. All other cases, the Atma is the subject and it is showing us the world, showing our mind, showing our intelligence. So there is a subject and object difference coming in. When the Atma reveals itself, there is no subject-object. Both subject-object and the process of revelation, everything has got merged. That is the non-dual or Advaya Anubhuti, the experience. So, these philosophies have to be transcended at a certain point. In the world, don't look for Advaita. It is absolute contradiction. How can Advaita be the world? Advaita says that the whole duality and multiplicity is appearing on consciousness, let us say, on Atma or Brahman, let us say consciousness. In our dream, what is happening? You think of the dream? The huge palace or an aircraft or some war is going on, bombs are blasting, you are fearful. All these things, where are they taking place? In the consciousness. The consciousness doesn't have anything of that. It is not a ship, it is not an aircraft, it is not an aircraft, it is not a war, nothing is there. But the whole picture we see in the consciousness. Like that, the world picture is also appearing in the consciousness. In the form of that consciousness, it is one. So nothing in the world can be Advaita. Does it give you any clarity? I think this is too high and philosophical for, I don't know, for many of you, but I have to, it is not so. Actually, we are fed on various preconceived ideas, that is why we may find. But the way it is explained, it is not at all difficult, provided our mind is free of all backlog, then we always say that kora kagaj, Hindi mein bolte hain. Kora kagaj means a fresh paper. In the board, you have to wipe off what the previous teacher has, about whatever is written on the board. You wipe off and then write. If you write on whatever is written, then it will not be. So generally our effort is whatever writing is there, on that something new is coming and we are trying to use that scope to understand. So it becomes difficult. If we take it just as straightforward truth, then it won't be difficult. Huh? Huh?
Namaskar. My name is Subramanian. Namaste Swami. While reading Bhagavad Gita, we have so many yogas revealed by Bhagavan Sri Krishna to attain the ultimate. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Sankhya Yoga. But one of the slokas that I very much try to understand and follow is Karmanyeva Adhikara De Ma Phalesh Kadarshana. So in this I have a, whenever I read that the meaning of the sloka itself, it always haunts me of two things. One is the word adhikara used in that sloka, the interpretable meaning of that one. for the normal humans who work Bhakti Marga. Unless we fulfill our responsibilities now, we cannot be following any of the other yogas to attain the ultimate. And second is the Phalapeksha versus Phalatyaga or Phalapeksha Tyaga. What is the difference? Because should we do the Karma Sannyasa or Phala Sannyasa or whatever it is? Please try to understand.
Both are very, very important and widely misunderstood, mistranslated. But if I say, you will not accept perhaps, because you have read so many commentaries and all. But I can say only what we have understood. I cannot deviate from that. And if you are simple, then you will understand it is not the way it is generally understood. That is impossible to have. Bhagavad Gita doesn't speak about any impossibility. Everything is absolutely possible. And I would recommend that, do we have essential concepts in Bhagavad Gita here? The first volume is there. There it has been very much clarified, this karmanyeva adhikaraste. Whether the result, renunciation of result is there, I am not sure, but it will be there in the 18th chapter, the last volume, 6th volume of the book. Very, very clearly explained. You can read it later. I will tell whatever little I can say. See, this adhikara in Sanskrit, it is not right. It can be used as a right, but in Sanskrit, it is in scriptures particularly, adhikara means fitness, deservingness. Venkat, why don't you come in front so that while speaking I can see your face? Here chairs are there. See, in Shastras, any Shastra written, there are 4 criteria there. Of them, one is the adhikara. Adhikara means the fitness. That means the person who is reading the Shastra, is he fit to do it or not? This fitness question comes everywhere. Suppose somebody is given in our Shastras, let us say Brahmastra. Why Drona did not give Brahmastra to his own son? What was his name? Ashwatthama. He learned half of it and did not know the full. But why did Drona not give? And why did not Drona accept Ekalabhya, who was even more skillful than Arjuna? It is the adhikara of that. Adhikara means the deservingness, the fitness. That means if you give somebody the Brahmastra, he should have so much of control over his mind that he will use it properly. Suppose nuclear bomb. Why people are so much scared about when some terrorist state they have nuclear bomb? Because we don't have the faith that they will use it properly. They can use it anytime. Why the bomb operation is kept in such a manner that any military leader thinking that I will drop the nuclear bomb cannot do it? It is finally the key is with the president, is it not? It has to undergo several stages because one person may suddenly get agitated and do a mischief. It is all to do with the adhikar, the fitness of anything. Suppose you have studied only up to class 8 and you want to do postgraduate or PhD. Will you be allowed? They will say, no, you are not fit for it. You pass the school up to 12th class, you pass, then only you come for graduation. If you have done graduation, then only you come to post-graduation. In very rare cases, they may find that the person is already fit for post-graduation, although he has not studied in school. So they will be admitted. That is a very special case, but they will test the fitness of the person. Without that, nobody will be given. So this adhikara is that if we are studying something, first of all, we have to see, am I fit to do it? Otherwise, I will misunderstand the Shastras and my life will be my life may become miserable because of my misunderstanding. So anything is explained, there is an adhikara tattva, it is called, adhikara for that. So repeatedly in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, chapter after chapter, I am not able to see your face, that is blocking. See, again, I can show in 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, he is coming back that, Krishna, you said that this is the great thing. When after 2nd chapter he has explained what is the Sankhya Yoga. You have explained Sankhya Yoga and this is the highest thing, then why are you putting me into Ghora Karma? Ghora Karma means intense activity. War is such an intense activity that nobody can, we cannot even imagine that kind of an activity. Forget about our small activities we are engaged in. They had to fight right on the war field. So, there is a misunderstanding of Arjuna about his fitness for a certain thing. So, Krishna is clearly saying that there is something called Jnana Yoga and something called Karma Yoga. What is that? Jnana Yoga is exclusive Jnana Nishtha, exclusive knowledge pursuit, which was there in the Upanishadic era, particularly for the renunciates. They are not involved in any of the worldly activities. They were only constantly thinking about the Atma, their mind will become Atma. Constantly interacting with the concept of the Atma, their mind would become Atma. That was the exclusive Jnana Nishtha, and they will not slip from that. Nishtha means Nirviseshananda Tishtati. There is nothing other than that at all. In their activity or whatever they would be doing, that should be the only ultimate truth. So, and by people in general, they are not fit for that. Suppose if I ask you to anybody to meditate for 6 hours, you will not be able to do even that. Forget about 6 hours. People say that when Swamiji initiates, they start doing 1 hour. After 1 year, when Swamiji, I am not able to sit for more than 15 minutes or half an hour. Initial excitement and enthusiasm, they can sit for some time. After that, that also goes. Or somebody will say that I sit for meditation, but my mind runs around. What does it mean? That we are generally not fit for meditation. We have to become fit for meditation. Like that, the people generally will not be able to pursue the Kevala Jnana Nishtha or exclusive knowledge pursuit, because it needs a certain sublimation of the mind, intelligence, everything. So that sublimation has to be brought into the mind and personality to pursue the Jnana Nishtha. Before that, you have to do the activities. You are in any case remaining in activities, but you have to do the activities in a manner that your mind becomes purified. So, it is said that Atma Vishuddhaya, there is a shloka, Karma Kurvanti Jnanina Atma Vishuddhaya. The last portion is like that. People are doing the karma for their Atma Shuddhi, because without Atma Shuddhi they cannot pursue knowledge as a Kevala Jnana Nishtha. Now Karma Yoga also, which he is recommending again and again, Arjuna, this Kevala Jnana Nishtha or the Sankhya is not for you. For you is the Karma Yoga. So Karmani eva adhikaraha te. That is the meaning. That Karmani eva. Eva is there, very important. Eva means your fitness is only in karma. If you take up sannyasa, as Arjuna was saying, I will go and live on bhiksha, I will take up sannyasa and live in the forest on bhiksha. Arjuna, if you do it, 14 years you have meditated on war, only war. And you have been thinking how to punish Duryodhana, how to kill him and all. Now if you suddenly go to the forest, your mind again will think of Duryodhana and others. It will not think of the self. Do you get my point? So, karmani eva adhikarate. Your adhikara, your fitness is only in karma. Ma phaleshu kadachana. That means you should not get attached to, as we say, or get clinging to the result of what you are doing. Those I can explain later on. They also quite a lot we have to understand. Ma karma phala hetur bhuhu. This ma means don't. It is not na. It means ma means don't. So one is karmani eva adhikarahate. Your fitness is only in karma. Mate sangostu akarmani. All the three are, rest three are ma. That if you do the karma, you have to do this without doing all these three. Do you get it? So karma yoga is not doing karma. People say that I am now in karma yoga. Many people, those who do not want to take to spirituality, that it is for after retirement. I am in karma yoga now. They are doing karma, not karma yoga. Karma is entirely different from karma. Karma yoga, the yoga part is more important. That means when you are doing karma, your mind has to be in yoga. Now, as she said, mind cannot be yoga in the usual sense. That is, when you are active, you cannot meditate. You cannot meditate on the... So there the yoga meaning is different. So he is explaining in the next verse what is the meaning of yoga. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Just now as I explained that this is another way, the siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. This samatvam, that keeping the mind free of the oscillation, that is true of raga, dvesha, everything, that the mind should remain absolutely equal, even in all the ups and downs of the world. And that is called the yoga in Bhagavad Gita. Karma yoga in Bhagavad Gita is actually defined as buddhi yoga, because how will you have the samatva? You must understand what is the meaning of samatva in our daily activities and all. So the whole Bhagavad Gita is on that he is explaining what should be the mindset. So that is why we say that the Bhagavad Gita is a revolutionary presentation. Upanishadic pursuit was there in our country from prehistoric stage. How many thousands of years? Nobody can say. It could be 10, it could be 20, because it is prehistoric. There is no point in saying and arguing and debating on that. It is prehistoric. And this pursuit was very much there. The Upanishads are still available with us, with all the revelations they have done. But it was not pursued by the general public. It was pursued only by the people who have left the worldly pursuit and given only to the, that is Kevala Jnana Nishta, only given to knowledge pursuit. Now, Bhagavad Gita presented in the war, it's in the war field. It means that it is meant for people who are active. Otherwise, why should they put the knowledge in the war background? We should think about it. So here the fitness is there for the people who are working. They are fit for doing this karma yoga, because Krishna said that, Arjuna, whatever is the ultimate gain of this Kevala Jnana Nishtha, the same is attained. Repeatedly the shlokas are there. You can see, you have studied only. I mean, you have studied. Otherwise I can show, but it will take time. Every time he is saying that whatever you are pursuing, I will make your mind such that you will have the same gain by doing your karma. Not the outer karma. Nothing will change. The war you have come to fight, the war you will fight. Now, in the first chapter, you have yourself said that you are fighting the war because of the greed. Yat rajya sukha lobhena hantum svajana mudyataha. 1.45 or so. First chapter, 45th shloka. Ahovat mahat papam hantum ahovat mahat papam kattum vyavasita vayam yad rajya sukha lobhena hantum svajana mudyataha. That we are going out to perform a great sin. What is that sin? Out of the greed for enjoying the comfort of kingship. Rajya, Sukha, Lobha. Greed for enjoying the comfort of kingship. We are going to kill our own people, particularly the most beloved grandfather on whose lap I have grown, and the most respected teacher from whom I have learned the archery. I have to fight them. It is the most sinful act. And for what I am doing? For Rajya Sukha Lobha. Greed for enjoying the kingship, the comfort of kingship. Whole Bhagavad Gita is that, Arjuna, you have not come for that. You have come to fight the war, but not as a personal selfish gain. The whole world has been, the earth has become loaded with the wrong kings, corrupt kings. The society has got filled with corrupt kings. So this killing and winning the war is necessary to establish a righteous rule on earth, righteous rule on our country, you can say. So you have to change your mindset that you may live after the world, you may die in the world also, in the war also, you may survive, you may die also. But you are doing your part because you are a Kshatriya, you are doing your part in establishing the righteous rule. If you fail, doesn't matter. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. But you must do it with the stable mind, evenness of the mind. You do whatever you are fit to do and what you are supposed to do. So if a person like Arjuna can fight the war being in yoga, and the yoga is the end of it, can we not do our small official activities and family activities, keeping the mind in the yoga? So it is the karma yoga of Bhagavad Gita is actually called buddhi yoga. That means that you have to anchor your buddhi in the self and do whatever you are doing. By that the whole purpose of all work will be changed. So whatever we are doing for selfish aim. That will be changed into whatever I am fit to do, whatever the society needs, I am doing that, not becoming happy or personal gain at all. We are doing because we are capable of doing. The whole world is doing without any desire. The plants are growing, the flowers are blossoming, the rivers are flowing, the earth is going around the sun. Is it motivated by desire? Only the human beings have picked up desire. Without that they cannot do anything. That has to be eliminated. Then your all karma will become yoga. And you are fit for that. By doing it, you will attain the same goal as people of Jnana Nishtha will attain. Does it clarify you? Now, the result part. Bhagavad Gita never says that the external result has to be renounced. It is meaningless. Nobody can do it. Because the whole world is moving by causality. Is it not? The whole creation, it is running by causality. So it is not the result comes only at the end of it. Every moment there is a chain of cause and effect, which builds up. Suppose you wanted to come to here, I don't know the address, so wanted to come here. Now when you are starting from his home, you want to come here. Now every step you or every moment you drive your car towards this, are you not coming here? That coming is partially done like this. Now after reaching this place, will you say that now I have to renounce my result? So I did not want to come here, I will renounce it. Is it possible? Suppose a lady is pregnant and she is bearing the child for 9 months. Now finally when the child will be born, that is the result of the whole pregnancy. Now after the result has come as a childbirth, will she throw off the child that no, I don't want the result? It is just a causal consequence of everything. We cannot renounce any objective result at all. Everything we do, it will follow causality and the objective result will come there. Krishna has not spoken about the objective result. He has spoken of ishtam anishtam mishram cha trividha karmana phalam. It is our mind that we want something favorable or we want to avoid anything non-favorable. So in our mind we are suffering because of that preference and prejudice. That has to be renounced. That whether you become successful, siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva, or unsuccessful, that should not affect you. So the result is in the mind, the inner result, internal result, which you have to, your mind has to be taken away from there. Objective result you have to focus on. Suppose you are producing car in your factory. You have to think every bit of it, you have to take advice from all the people that the car, suppose the factory will produce car after 10 years. by the car I am producing after 10 years, will it have the proper market or not? Suppose you produce a car which will not, by the time that it's all gone, all are electric vehicle. Then you produce a diesel car at that time. So you have to go into everything. Not only that, you have to focus on how are you going to produce the car. The result has to be in your mind. The objective result, without that in your mind, you cannot do anything. Then your car factory may produce shoes or clothes. We are not wanting that. So every moment our focus has to be on the result. But objective result, not that by getting the result I will become a rich multimillionaire, and by becoming multimillionaire I will become happy and my family will become happy. That happiness, the ultimate desire, that has to be renounced. Whatever the result, when you are fully focused on the work, the best result will come out of it. That's all. Never imagine that I will become happy, and it's absolutely not true also. Has anybody ever become happy by getting anything from the world? The richest person, the most famous person, the most powerful politician. Has anybody become happy by gaining anything from the world? Happiness is within. We don't get happiness from outside. It's a misunderstanding of the world. Shall I stop? It's 8 o'clock. Or anything very important is there, I can answer for 5 minutes. So your Dvaita and Advaita is, confusion has gone. When you practice, then no Dvaita, no Advaita, nothing will be there. Without Dvaita you cannot pursue. Then you will sit on your Guru's, why should I obey my Guru? If there is no Dvaita, Guru is also what I am. Why should I follow? It cannot be practiced. You want to conclude that they should do, na? You want to come? Take it, okay. Huh? Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nitya bodhasvarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nitya bodhasvarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami prano